When life gets unpredictable, preparation matters. In medicine, it's all about staying alert, ready for whatever comes through the door. On the road, it's no different. That's why Volvo designs vehicles to help anticipate risk, reduce harm, and protect lives. The Volvo XC90's advanced safety systems inspire confident decisions wherever the road takes you. The Volvo XC90, for life. Proud sponsor of the Pit Podcast. Learn more at volvocars.ca/safety.
I said I could guarantee that you care about our next subject. And the reason I can guarantee it is because you're listening to it right now. Radio. Montreal, we got 100 years of radio broadcasting history. There's a new exhibit in town to honor that 100 years of history. I need to point out, this is a big year for us at CJAD 800. It's going to be 75 years of CJAD, if you can believe it. And for those of you who have been listening for those 75 years, I thank you so much. Joining me on the line now is Mariana Mejia Ahrens. She's program coordinator for the Centennial of Broadcasting in Canada. Hi, Mariana.
Hi, Elias. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on. Why don't you tell me about your love of radio? Why do you love radio as much as a guy like me that gets to be behind a mic all day?
I do. I have a background in audio production, so I've been working in sound for the past 10 years, and now I get to work with it in a more historic way.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk about that history. What can you tell us before we get into how all of us Montrealers can really get into it this year? But what can you tell us about just how important this city is to the history of broadcasting and vice versa? How important the history of broadcasting is to the city?
Yeah, so Montreal is basically the cradle of radio technology for Canada. What we are celebrating this year as part of the Centennial is Montreal's place as that. We have Marconi, the father of radio, working in Montreal at the beginning of the 1800s, and by 1919, he starts experimenting with his XWA, experimental radio station, which was in a building in Griffintown. And by 1920, in May, he's able to send kind of like the first broadcast in Canada between Montreal and Ottawa. And that kind of begins the history of radio development in the whole country.
And radio just takes off, of course, worldwide. There's great stories here in North America of how radio just takes off. As you look back at 100 years of radio, what is it that, if you come to this exhibit, and we'll tell everyone where it is and all that kind of stuff, but if you're going to walk into this exhibit, what's the thing that is going to just say, you're going to go, wow?
Well, we have some very cool pieces as part of the exhibit. The exhibit shows pieces that are part of the collection of the Musée des Ondes, Emile Berliner. Mm-hmm. And we have a wide array of objects kind of spanning from the whole 100 years. So we start from telegraph keys to battery run radios, like early ones, vacuum tube radios, transistor radios. We explore satellite communications and the Canadian Space Agency, program, and up to more recent technology like Bluetooth and, other kinds of gadgets that we have now. Absolutely love it.
We're speaking with Mariana Mejia Ahrens. She's program coordinator for the Centennial of Broadcasting in Canada. So, Mariana, true story. I just set up, I have one of these Apple HomePods at home. And because you were just speaking about, getting into the future and that kind of stuff. And I think about the past, and I love the design of old radios, and I love that feeling. I love the sound. And just, looking towards the future, I just set it up now, like literally yesterday. So now my phone tells my HomePod when I get home. And as soon as I get home, the HomePod turns on CJAD 800, the live stream, right?
Nice.
This is kind of crazy stuff. Are you as excited about the future of radio as you are about celebrating its past?
Yeah, I am. But I don't know. I've been working so hard in getting this story out.
Tell me about that. Tell me about that hard work. Yeah. What were you doing? Tell me about the hard work.
Yeah, sure. So I'm part of the Centennial. So the Centennial is a year-long celebration that's put together between the Musée des Ondes and the SQCRA, which is a local radio collectors group. And we are working hard on having several events, conferences, temporary exhibits, along with our partners and our supporters, and just trying to show the people in Montreal the importance of the city and the important history that's recorded here, right?
Is there a story that you like to tell when it comes to that history?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy the kind of how the people were involved at the beginning, right? And why Canada in a way. So Marconi coming to Canada and settling in Montreal, and then other pioneers like Fassenden, and how their technology kind of was shaped here in this region. I also really like the development of the content itself, right? So we see a lot of connections between world events, like Olympics or World War II, or other kind of big social events that kind of are greatly intertwined with radio development history, right? And how it impacts both, right? Both ways, both the culture into radio and radio about shaping culture.
Mariana, did Montreal get lucky? The fact that Marconi decided, okay, I'm setting up shop here, did we luck out?
That's a good question. I would say yes. But as being part of the Musée des Ondes, I've learned that Montreal was, it was an important city for technological invention and discovery. Montreal is also the cradle of the Canadian music recording industry. And that's part of the history that we also try to preserve in the museum. So, some very, very important stepping stones for development of just sound technology came from Montreal, which is, I think it's a great story.
Yeah, it's a great story. CJD, we're going to be celebrating 75 years this year. So 75 years of those 100 we've been around.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Congratulations.
Thank you. So why don't you tell us how we go take part? Where's the exhibit? When can we go? Give us all those details.
Yeah, of course. So the exhibit is called 100 Years of Radio Broadcasting in Montreal. It's the newest temporary of the Musée des Ondes, the Emile Berliner. The museum is a site-specific museum that is located in the RCA building in St. Henry. We are in the second floor, and we're Friday 10 to 4, and Saturday and Sundays 2 to 5.
You just cut out there right when you were saying the hours. Okay, so just repeat the hours again when we can go. Yeah.
No worries. Yeah. So we're open Monday to Friday, 10 till 4. And then Saturday and Sunday for guided tours, we're open 2 to 5 in the afternoon.
Great. The RCA building in St. Henry, if you want to go check it out, second floor.
Yeah.
Mariana, thanks so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
I love radio, Mariana. Thanks. That's just great. 75 years at CJD 100 years of Montreal history. If you love radio and you're listening to it right now, do go check that out. That's Mariana Mejia Ahrens. She's the program coordinator of the Centennial of Broadcasting in Canada.